Hey guys, this is Omer from MMOs.com. We're doing a quick weekly news recap of all major MMO news and announcement of the week ending July 27th, 2020. This is episode number 255 of the recap, and the first of news this week comes from Sega regarding Phantasy Online 2 New Genesis, which is both a total overhaul of Phantasy Online 2 and a separate game. Yes, it's a bit confusing, but I'll try to explain it as best I can. Instead of launching episode 7, they're launching New Genesis in 2021 globally in English, and it aims to bring PSO2 up to more modern standards with an entirely new game engine, better visuals, better UI, and new gameplay mechanics. The original PSO2 will continue to run alongside New Genesis, and will also get some visual updates, and players will be able to hop between the two versions with some restrictions on what items they can carry over into New Genesis. But make no mistake, despite some character data transferring over, New Genesis seems to be an entirely new game with some character data transferring over. Yes, it's all a bit confusing, but a massive new PSO2 overhaul is definitely something to look forward to. And it's pretty obvious now why Microsoft partnered with Sega to bring over PSO2 to English finally after all these years. And it was build up hype for Phantasy Online so they can be launching New Genesis, which is the game they really wanted to promote. And they did that pretty successfully, I think, because a lot of people were playing PSO2 in English now. Next up, some big news for Star Wars The Old Republic. The game launched on Steam this last week for the first time, and up until now was only available on its own launcher. Distribution on Steam should expand the game's reach and bring more players into the game, but most players on Steam are likely existing users as they can now launch the game on Steam and log into their existing account, so it's all backwards compatible. So far, the Steam launch seems to be a big success as well, because Star Wars The Old Republic hit over 27,000 concurrent players on Steam over the weekend. If you never played this one, now it's on Steam, so it's super easily accessible, plus it's free to play. At least the story content and the main game kind of is, but if you want to play the game more seriously, it's more of an unlimited free trial because a lot of gameplay stuff is kind of behind a paywall. It's also one of the only MMORPGs out there with a strong emphasis on story, along with Final Fantasy XIV and probably a handful of other games. Next, speaking of MMORPGs with an emphasis on storytelling, Final Fantasy XIV patch 5.3 finally has a release date and a brand new trailer. The latest update is named Reflection to Crystal and is launching on August 11th and continues the game's long-running story and also increases the game's free trial level cap from 35 to 60, which means free trial users can now enjoy the entire base game and the first expansion for free. Also included in patch 5.3 is a new Dark Apocalypse Alliance raid, new dungeon, a new trial, some new Endgame Plus updates, and more. What I'm looking forward to most though is a new Unreal Trials, which are powered up versions of existing Primal fights for level 80 characters, so they'll be recycling old content by making it more relevant and more powerful. Square Enix also announced that Final Fantasy XIV hit 20 million registered users, which doesn't mean too much as it's not an active player base number, but given the quarantines and whatnot, I'm sure the player base numbers are an all-time high. Again, 5.3 is launching on August 11th. And moving right along, NCSoft launched a new Dark Passage update for Blade & Soul, which features the new 12-man Silver Steel Laboratory raid for players level 68 with Hangmoon level 16 and above. The update also includes a new hunting zone called Niraka, a new Dragonspire PvE weapon tier, new mythical weapon enchantment system, and more. I wonder if Blade & Soul will ever come to Steam. The game's been out since 2016 in North America and Europe, so I think it's about time for Blade & Soul to launch on Steam. You hear that, NCSoft? Get to it. Launch on Steam. Anyway, up next, Rocket League is going free to play this summer as it launches on the Epic Games Store. The game will no longer be available for download on Steam once it goes free to play. However, anyone who has the game already installed on Steam can continue to launch the game and play the game on Steam with no interruptions. And players who own the game will be awarded Legacy status, which includes access to all DLCs, a unique title, a player banner, and a bunch of other goodies. The game's biggest update to date will also be launching alongside the free-to-play transition, which will be making big changes to tournaments and challenges. No one exactly when the free-to-play transition is happening, but it should be happening soon because the summer is almost over. Rocket League remains one of the most successful Western-developed free-to-play titles out there, as it averages over 40,000 players on Steam alone, and is available on consoles as well. Now, speaking of successful Western games, the latest update to Albion Online, called Rise of Avalon, will be launching on August 12th. The update is already live on the game's test servers, and features the new solo PvEVP corruption dungeons, which are solo dungeons that can be raided by other players. Also include our new Avalonian weapons, the new Roads of Avalon system, and more. Oh, and it's worth mentioning that Albion Online has been an absolute tear lately, with the game's Steam player base jumping from 330 players in March 2019 to over 5,800 average players over the last 30 days. Albion Online is quickly becoming one of the more popular Western-developed free-to-play MMORPGs out there. If you haven't given the game a try, I do recommend at least trying it. It's a free-to-play game, and it's kind of a bit more reminiscent of old-school games like RuneScape and Ultima Online, at least with the game's skill system. Speaking of Western-developed games, Rogue Company, the new third-person hero shooter from Hi-Res Studios, officially launched this last week into early access on PC, Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PS4 with full cross-play support. The PC version is available exclusively in the Epic Games Store, though. While the game will be free to play at launch, it costs $14.99 right now for the cheapest early access bundle. Hi-Res Studios is the same company behind Smite and Paladins, so they've made numerous successful games in the past. We'll see how Rogue Company does. I do like the fact that it's third-person, which makes it at least a little bit different from the other hero shooters out there. Next, the upcoming Magic the Gathering MMORPG Magic Legends kicks off its second closed alpha test, which runs until August 3rd. These were invite only, so not everyone got in. Unfortunately, still no word on when the official release date is, but we do know it's planned to be launching sometime in 2020, so sometime later this year, with a console version launching sometime in 2021. But with the second closed alpha going on, the game is clearly making some progress towards release. Next up, after a month-long pre-registration event, Nexon's Unreal Engine 4-powered cross-platform PC and mobile MMORPG V4 officially launched this last week. It boasts 100-player boss fights, 300-player raids, PvP, in-depth customization, and 6 playable classes. While it's available on the PC, it's worth mentioning V4 is clearly a mobile MMORPG with a PC client, so don't expect a full-blown traditional PC MMORPG. However, it is kind of nice to see a mobile game that kind of launched the PC client right alongside with it. Up next, the free-to-play medieval warfare tactical action MMO Conquerors Blade launches Blood of the Empire expansion this last week and introduces 2 new battlefields, 4 new unlockable units, and a new season battle pass reward track. Emotes have also been added to the game, clearly the main aspect of the update, along with some special character animations. Conquerors Blade is free-to-play and definitely a unique game, and it's actually pretty popular as well, averaging over 2,500 players on Steam at any given time. Next up, Soulworker Anime Legends. The mobile version of Soulworker launched on mobile devices this last week. The game featured 6 heroes from the PC version and the same familiar sleek anime art style the PC version had. It looks very similar to the PC version and even has my favorite guitar-wielding lolly Stella in it. Though I do have to say the name of the game is kind of cringe though. Soulworker Anime Legends. Why is Anime Legends in the title? Just kind of strange, but it is a mobile game, so expect all the fun stuff you'd expect in a mobile game, including autoplay elements. Next and last of news this week comes from Pearl Abyss regarding Shadow Arena. The free-to-play BDO-inspired battle royale game is launching on PS4 and Xbox One later this year after having been a PC exclusive for some time now. No official release date on the console versions yet, but in the meantime, the game's PC version just added Gorgath, the game's 13th playable hero, to the game's roster. If you're tired of playing all the FPS battle royale games out there, Shadow Arena is worth checking out because again, it's melee and a little bit different. The game's player base is on the light side though, averaging just 208 players over the last 30 days on Steam. Anyway guys, that's it for my news this week. I'll see you guys next time. Later guys.